The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We are on a slightly late start due to some technical difficulties, but we are here. I'm your host, Sarah. We got Seven with us tonight with a beautiful fireplace going in the background.
It's on YouTube.
And joining us, our very special guest, friend of Bucklebomb, Vinny Ratlock. How are you tonight?
Science! I'm doing well. I hope you guys are doing well as well.
Mm-hmm. Vinny, you are here to talk about your new wrestling promotion, amongst other things.
Yes.
So what's been new with you?
Well, it's not as much as a new wrestling promotion as it's basically like our little kid, sibling organization, and it's a P3W is what it is. We try to make it its own entity. Aside from that, like Zabadass Pro is basically a blanket organization, and P3W falls into that line of the different mini corporations that there are under that blanket. It's trying to stay dry from the rain. You want to know what it is? So P3W stands for Pollux Power Pro. And if you guys, anybody ever take any anatomy classes or anything like that in college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you know, do you know what the anatomical word Pollux stands for? Pollux stands for thumb. So yes, Pollux Power Pro is basically one of the very first professional thumb wrestling organizations that is going on in the world. Now, there was another one that was known a couple years ago that was NDWA, which was the National Digit Wrestling Association. But they were actually a group made up of an improv comedians and whatnot. Now, the difference is Pollux Power Pro is entirely made up of actual trained professional wrestlers. So you have people like currently one of our main champions who actually won the title before we became Pollux Power Pro. We had already dabbled in the world of professional thumb wrestling since 2006 when we did a show in Richmond, Indiana, and it was Dirty Scrubs McGee won the title against a gentleman went by the name of Showtime, and he held that title for 14 years before losing it in 2020 to Satu Jin, who is a well-known independent wrestler and deathmatch wrestler. So he is currently off doing his thing, and we have created yet another title, which we did a tournament for this past summer at a convention. The In Conjunction. It was their 42nd year running, and we had 6 combatants. And the one who came out on top, who is now the Golden Thumb champion, is none other than the smooth talking mechanic Mikey Motor. So, Mr. Wrestling, Mikey Motor, and he is going to be actually defending his title coming up soon. So it's been fun because professional thumb wrestling still has the aspects of pro wrestling. It's just the result is you have to pin your opponent's thumb down. So for a 4 count, even not just a 3 count, 4 count, because when you do your thumb wars, you 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. We made it a 4 count, and specifically it has to be the left thumb that gets pinned, not the right. Oh, for God's sake, Steven. Somebody unmute 7. I see that she's muted.
Do you guys have your next show planned yet?
Hey, we're back. Yes. We actually have our next 2 shows planned because both of those shows are going to be happening on the exact same day. That's right. December 30th at the Sakura Event Center in Edinburgh, Indiana. We're going to have 2 shows post Xmas, if you will. I like to call it Sciencemas. But We have the first show at 1 p.m., which is going to be called Bah Thumbug. And then followed on 5 p.m. with It's a Thunderful Life. So that's going to be fun. We've already announced the matches for the first show, and tomorrow we'll be announcing matches and appearances for the second show. So
Excellent.
And it's also
Now
a very small and cozy setting. We can only fit 40 people in this, so it's a very select few. I mean, I know still in its current infantile stages, I don't expect to be filling, Wembley Stadium to see a couple wrestlers try to pin each other's thumbs to the ground. But I think between 40 and 60 people would be a perfect number right now. And we've already started selling tickets. Tickets went on sale December 1st, and we've already started selling tickets. We have some online through evenbright.com, and we also have some physical tickets through our main sponsors, which is the Johnson County Axe Throwing. And those guys are really awesome. They're going to be I have a feeling in 2024 that they'll be working with me a good amount. So looking forward to that.
Now, I know Zabatis does some IWTV stuff as well. Will this be on IWTV?
Say that again?
Well, the thumb wrestling, will that be on IWTV?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. We are filming for IWTV. Matter of fact, the show that we did for Thumb War of the World in conjunction is currently available on IWTV as well. You just need to type up, if you go into the search, type up ZPW or ZPWN, and you'll find us on there, which is the Zabadass Pro Wrestling Network. Anything pertaining to professional wrestling, or it can be linked to professional wrestling, can be found on that channel that deals with myself and all of my creations. We have our thumb wrestling shows on there. We have our No Ring Dojo shows on there. We have our regular wrestling shows on there. We even have some of our older stuff, such as the original Panic at the Dojo, Cabin Fever. Let's see. We also have my Mask Monger series, where I'm making masks for professional wrestlers or stuff dealing and pertaining to pro wrestling. I even am working currently with dusting off old footage from shows that I had run pre-2010 when I was running WTFW, which was primarily a deathmatch show. And Blake 0561, who is wildly popular for showcasing on his YouTube channel the really gnarly deathmatch scene, normally where either something is broken on a person or slashed or gashed or blood, kind of shows you the more gruesome side of deathmatch to show you how bad things can get in those. And he even has a series called Taking Liberties, where it shows where the wrestlers in the matches decide to go to business for themselves, if you will. There's especially the one where the luchador throws a cinder block in the back of the head of another wrestler standing outside of the ring. So, but he does a lot of extensive stuff, does his commentary on top of it, and him and me have linked together, and now we're digging through the vault to find some of the crazier matches that has happened under my supervision, or I should have been looking a little closer to make sure that they weren't that great. And we're covering a month to month. We took a quick break in November, and we're getting ready to release our December match, which is covering Akira versus Zodiac in the schoolroom or schoolhouse brawl, where Akira gets thrown through the wall of a historic building. That's fun.
That sounds like Akira.
Oh yeah, no, they tore the house down. Science. But yeah, and now with Akira being in Major League Wrestling, and he's worked with Raven and stuff. He's really making his way up there. But I can be like, hey, guess what he did in the past?
Just watch right here.
Yeah, check this out. Click.
Now you briefly touched on some of your mask making for pro wrestlers. What's that been like, and how can people check that out?
Well, I mean, I started making masks probably back in 1996. Almost anything, all of my crafting and any of that stems from the point that growing up, there's things that I wanted but I did not have, say, the capital to get them. But what I did have was my craftiness and creativity. So I could at least try to get something or make something up to that point. And one of the very first things, mask-wise, was my affinity for Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th. Obviously, I love Jason. I think it was awesome. His mask is probably one of the most iconic masks in horror. You see a hockey mask and even if you see the small cheap ones, you immediately think Jason Voorhees. Well, I wanted a mask to look more like Jason, but at the time, if you wanted a hockey mask that looked like a Jason Voorhees mask, you were going to be paying anywhere from $350 to $400. Being, 1996, so I'm 14 years old. I don't have that kind of money to throw around. But I did have 2 or 3 regular $5 to $10 plastic hockey masks, which I then proceeded to carve the holes and sand and paint and all that stuff to make my very own. Now, was it canon to the movie? Did it look spot on? Not in the least. I was only 14. But still, but seeing that kind of gave me a spark wanting to make into the realm of masks and stuff, because what I like about it is you put a mask on. A lot of people say when you put on a mask, you are hiding your true self. And that's not always true, because I know a lot of people put on masks to resemble who they want to be, which is why my tagline is, it's let me help you be who you truly want to be with the masks, because we walk day and night looking like this, not feeling ourselves sometimes, even though, this is how we came out, and this is what God or the universe or, biology has given us. And we now have the knowledge, we have the technology and the science to change ourselves, whether it be on the inside or the outside. And, I can help people because, you can only do so much with the flesh. Mm-hmm. I can't do anything with this, no matter how much collagen or, skull putty that I injected myself to make myself look like Krampus, But back here, I have a mask of Krampus that I can just put on, and suddenly I feel at ease, because who I wanted to be at the time, I can be that person. And I can help everybody else be that person too. Not everybody out there wants to be crafty. They just want it now. And so I provide that for them. Let me help you become who you want to be. And the best thing about masks is you change your mind, you can take the mask off. You can put on another mask if you want, Mm-hmm.
Also, I love watching your TikToks live when you're doing it.
Thank you very much. I know at the time you popped on, you said hi, and I was like, hello, Seven? Who is that?
Yeah, sometimes I'll just pop in and see how you're doing and not say anything. So I'm just kind of an innocent bystander sometimes.
And I will say, that's what I say. It's not that I don't enjoy lurkers, but if it's a lurker that knows who I am, at least just say, hey, Vinny. Then I'm like, oh, hi. Because there's been times where people that I know are lurking, and I'll start talking to them, and I don't realize that they've already hopped off. And so a buddy of mine, TJ, he'll hop on. Yeah, Sarah. He'll throw some gifts my way, and so the whole time I'm doing stuff for the next hour, I'm like, so TJ, how's your day going? Da 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 da. And I'm not seeing any answering back, and I'm realizing he's not there anymore. And I'm like, I just had this hour and a half conversation with myself. So yeah, anytime you guys happen to pop onto the TikTok, whether I'm doing a live or whatever, just pop in and say hi. And if you're going to cut out, be like, hey, I saw that you were talking to me. I'm leaving. Like, oh, because you can't jump back on the live and catch up to what you lost on that. That's the unfortunate thing about the TikTok lives. I like the YouTube lives, though, because if you hop back on, you can rewind a little bit and check out what was being said. So, but TikTok right now just seems to be the bread and butter for me right now. Like, a lot of people are trying to get me back on YouTube and Twitch, but TikTok seems to be the more beneficial thing for me. It's what's hot right now,
Yeah, it's really weird how the audiences and the algorithms switch, because we have a really hard time on TikTok, but other platforms we do really well in. It's
and I do agree with that because I've been noticing something. Some of the creators, such as myself, like I'm almost at 2,500 followers, but my views never go above 300 really. Once it hits 300, it kind of just conks out. And so maybe it's because, I don't know if it's because I've voiced my opinion as a social warrior from time to time, and TikTok sees that and they're like, whoa, silence. Because usually if you show any kind of textual malice towards anybody, no matter what they're doing, TikTok frowns on that. And I've also seen a lot of professional wrestling videos get frowned on. A gentleman, a friend of mine who is also a 3 or 4 time, I think he's a 3-time mask purchaser off mine, goes by the name of Paragon. Went to unveil the mask. He did an unboxing of the mask that I created for him, and it was a wonderful mask. I love the piece. I almost had a hard time sending it to him, but I was like, look, he paid you. So I did. And when he did the unboxing, he was in character and actually did his, to pull away the curtain for a minute, he was in character. And he said things. This is the mask that I wear when I do this and I do that. And some of the things was unaliving and how he would unalive somebody. And because of that, some people suddenly went, oh no, this man means horrifying malice onto the masses. So let's report him. And he ended up having, because his view count had gone up to, I want to say almost 10,000 for that video. And then suddenly it was muted because of the language he was using. And then it was just cut down altogether. And then they started going after some of his other videos where he was talking in that nature. But it was like, we're trying to tell him that he was talking in that nature because he wasn't being, it was him talking about what he's doing in the ring, not what he's going to be doing on the streets or anything like that. So he ended up getting nerfed hardcore, and I think he's been fighting it. Yeah. And I think he's back on the upswing of things, because it discourages people when they're a creator, because I don't already have, the 3 to 4 million fan base. So I'm doing everything I can to get to there, whether it be through professional wrestling, through mask making, through my TikToks, through the IWTV, through the horror movie hosting and all that. I'm an entertainer and I'm a creator. I want to have people watch me no matter what I'm doing and go, huh. So, and that's with the experimentation through the thumb wrestling and whatnot. So everything, as a creator, you have to know that everything is content. Your daily life. There's so many times throughout your life that something happens and you immediately, as a creator, go, I wish I would have filmed it. I'm 41, so I still use the term film, because it really isn't film anymore. I mean, every now and then I'll dust off my old DV8 camera and actually use real film, but most of the time, no. Now you're digitalizing or whatever the term is that they want. So hold on, my alkaline's a little low. But yeah, go ahead. Ask something else while I take this drink.
So if people want to watch your mask making TikToks, when do you typically go live for that?
Right now, it is just all over the place. It's whenever I have free time. Almost any time I'm sitting down to craft and make stuff, I have my camera going. Well, if it's got enough juice, or if I have a charger nearby. Like currently, I'm not doing masks, but I'm getting ready to jump back on masks because I have a couple commissions underway. That's on the way. But like right now, tomorrow night at Night Terrors in Edinburgh, it's a haunted house, and they're doing the Night Terrors before Christmas, and they have actually asked me yet again to be there with an artist table, which I'm much obliged to do. And so I'm trying to think of stuff that would be good Christmas-wise or, science-wise and whatnot. And so I'm thinking, dolls and ornaments and snow globes and, brown paper packages tied up with strings and whatnot. So, like, one of the things I just got done today was this is the bride that I have, this nice little version of her. and with the eyes whited out. Because there we go. There's a better shot of her. You know, and all of her rotted glory. We had her finished up. I just did a fully custom snow globe.
Oh wow!
So that's fun. Made that completely from scratch.
Nice.
Here's a rotten tooth I ripped out of my head, but you don't really need to see that. And then we got some ornaments over here, which this one I just made last night, this fun little cat skull piece. And the eyes actually move on it. And then we got some stocking stuffers, still stuffed with the legs that were in the stockings. We have, that's fun. My Krampus bell, where it actually says Gruss vom Krampus on it. And it rings like a bell should. We have some severed ears here. Those are fun. And then this cute little teddy bear right here.
Aww.
Complete with blood and noose. So yeah, and I got a couple more projects I'm going to do tonight. A couple more ornaments I'm going to work on, and that's blinding me. So that's basically what I'm doing once I pop off the podcast. Is I'm just going straight into production mode because I want to have a very nice table. Like I'll still have my masks and other items as well. Like when I'm done over there, I'm going to have five dolls from the crypts ready with this. And oh my gosh, I've discovered the wonders of UV resin, and I can do so much. I've been using it as a glue, as a sealer. For the cat skull, you couldn't really see, but I made it drool for the girl, for the bride. She's crying, and it just looks like genuine wet tears running down her eyes. I mean, I'm even dare to say working on production. Once I get a better light, production of pins, like these guys and stuff up here, to do the images and then coat them with the resin, cure it, and then boom, now I got my own resin pins that I can start having for merchandise.
Nice.
Yeah, and we'll link, all your socials and stuff, in the video so people can check you out.
You better.
All right. We're gonna skip around a little bit from the schedule we have here.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna talk, have a little bit of fun. We're gonna run this, bit over the next couple of weeks. Wrestlers being cast in superhero.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
So, we'll start out with Marvel. I got 10 Marvel characters. We'll all compare, see which wrestlers might be the best fit for these characters.
Okay. I'm game.
Let's start out with Captain America. Vinny, who would you think would be the best Captain America?
Well, I mean, if you're going with looks alone, I would just say the Patriot. And the Patriot actually, not a lot of people know the Patriot because he was back in the original Attitude Era, Monday Night Raw's War. And he basically had the same almost look at the moment, but he was fully masked. And he was supposed to be the epitome of the American spirit in that era. He wasn't, America. He was America. And unfortunately, just some things happened, and he never really got any farther. I mean, at the time, I believe he was a United States champion or Intercontinental champion at one point. Like he had held a belt or two. And he ended up just falling short. I don't remember exactly what it was that where he slowly got erased from the existence of WWE. But honestly, with that attitude and how he acted, I think he'd be perfect for Captain America, just right off the bat, look-wise. Now we know that Hulk Hogan later on in the 2000s tried to don that same style look, a masked patriot or whatever. But we all know what he did. So yeah, with me, I would just say, Patriot, and just sticking with Patriot.
I kind of agree. And if you go back, fun fact, Patriot's entrance music was recycled to be Kurt Angle's music.
Oh, yes. You know, because see, because everyone's like, oh, well, Kurt Angle could, but at the same time, if you think about it, if we're talking original Captain America, he was always a very good, you know, moralistic stand by his country methods. And Kurt Angle, he had some storylines that were a little questionable. Something that I wouldn't see Captain America doing. So that's what I'm doing is I'm basing the wrestler in the ring, how he acts, not just who they are, period. So the actions of Kurt Angle on WWE and TNA and his actions, I would not see Captain America-esque. You know, because I don't think I would ever see Captain America saying, I want to have animalistic sex with your wife.
I have to go with Bryan Danielson. Look-wise, and just how he's always questioning like motives, and if you read Captain America's original or even his most recent comics, you see him going against the grain a lot. You see him, but he's still very much Captain America. And I kind of feel like Danielson, and the look-wise, if he cuts his hair, that would be a fit. And I did notice that the Patriot actually passed away in 2021.
Yep.
Well, poop. Well, that sucks. Rest in peace, Patriot. Well, if he's listening to me somehow, or anybody that is a friend of the Patriot, I think he would have been a perfect fit as a Captain America. So, condolences to the family. He was still one of my favorites in that era.
Next superhero, we'll go with our first woman here, Black Widow. To me, I'll go first on this one. The character of Becky Lynch, because of the red hair.
Man, yeah.
Very, very similar attitude. Very brash, in your face.
I like that. I agree with that. I wouldn't argue that. Only other person that I could see that would be doing that style, with like maneuverability and whatnot, I could see it being. Oh God, their name just ran away. Come back, Seven. You go. I'm trying to think.
You know, honestly, I can't think of, because I'm obviously trying to match their looks and their personality with it. But yeah, I kind of agree. I'm gonna have to go with Becky Lynch, because I can't. At first, I was kind of toying the idea of Lita, but I feel like Becky's gonna get this one.
Lita would get what she wants by any means necessary too. So I mean, and you could see her doing that. Now, see, what I like is, you know, originally through over there in the Russian area of Asia with red hair and accent Americanized, you could also say maybe Maja Slamovich.
Oh yeah,
could pull that off. I think so. She's got that, you know, she's got that attitude, and she's got that. You can see it from time to time. I mean, she's done deathmatch, she's done technical, she's a power mover. I mean, is she currently in Impact right now?
Yeah. I think she's still the tag team with Killer Kelly.
There you go. So I mean, I think if you're looking for big names, the man Becky Lynch, great. But if we're just talking wrestlers in general, I think Masha Slamovich could hit it. Could she knock it out of the park? I believe.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I changed my vote.
You know, if not, she could be fine. If they're looking for the big bucks, they would get more money out of Becky Lynch playing it, but then Masha could be the little sister.
Yeah, or she'd make a great heel or villain.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because she could pull off the especially when the Black Widow movie came out. I could see that working. How she's like against her sister, and then suddenly it's like, all right, well, I'll be good. And then, you know, it's always good when you see the bad girl, you know, or the villain with no real morals at the time, and then they're like, I'm going to do things for good, but they still kind of have that morals out the door type attitude, because they still like, well, this still worked. It worked for me when I was a bad guy. It'll work when I'm a good guy too. So
The anti-hero establishment or mentality, rather.
yep.
All right, number 3, Black Panther.
Oh. Cedric
I didn't see a
Alexander.
picture, so I'm waiting for a picture. This Black Panther deserves a picture on this screen. Dagnabbit.
For me, I was actually thinking Swerve Strickland.
The villain, definitely. But I'm going to go with Cedric Alexander.
Personally, with the maneuverability and everything, I would be going with Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
I think Kofi Kingston's would also have the move set.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Agree. All right, next up, this is the one I struggled with to find somebody, so I'll kind of see what you guys think.
Oh.
The Incredible Hulk.
Who did you pick? Because I think we are picking the same, Sarah.
This is the one I struggled with. I couldn't really come up with anybody. I think we lost Vinny here. I think Vinny froze.
He did.
Or he's doing his best Dave Bautista in Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't think. Drax. Hulk, I was trying to think of somebody, who was built big and strong, but also on the David Banner side. Let's see.
Whoops. My other camera just died on me, so I had my backup. So where are we at?
We're on Hulk.
You won't put a picture up of Black Panther, but you'll put a picture up of the Hulk? Come on.
Hey, I did have Black Panther up.
Okay, there he is. Wakanda Forever.
Camera just died.
All right. Still makes me cry with that What If episode on Disney Plus, where it was what if Black Panther became Star-Lord instead. And I was just like, I was almost in tears the entire episode, because basically him as Star-Lord, he brought everybody together. He even like turned Thanos's like opinion and stuff, and he was a good guy. I was like, oh my God, I love that episode. So, well, okay, so Bruce Banner.
Yes.
So, if I was to now, here's what I would do. I would do two, because I want Bruce Banner and then I want Hulk for him. So I think I would do Bryan Danielson as Bruce Banner, and I would do Cage as the Hulk.
Okay.
And then if we want to mix races, if not the Hulk, I would say, because Marvel can change stuff up, and so can I. Big E. Big E would be more like almost like Smart Hulk, the fun Hulk, where he's like, we just joined. This is how we're going to be, cracking the jokes and stuff. So okay, yeah. So I would say Big E would be Professor Hulk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different versions of Hulk too. You got Red Hulk too.
It's true.
Like you can do an entire Buckle Bomb episode picking people to play all the different variations of Hulk. Because now I just learned about Skinny Hulk, where Skinny Hulk has the mind of a child, and when Bruce Banner hulks out that way, he has like the mind of a child, a lonely child that was abused and stuff mentally. But even though he's skinny, he's still Hulk strength. So I've been studying up a little bit more on Hulk, because there's even now the one when they had Project H, where they gave the Hulk the adamantium, I believe is what it was. They gave him like the animant. So not only is he the Hulk, he's got like adamantium dealios where he can make claws like Wolverine, and he's also like he can regenerate like Wolverine. So it was like insane.
Weapon H was a different character. Hulk helped him, but it was a Marine that was lost his wife or something, or he was on a chase with his wife. But the super good book, highly recommended. Even though I don't remember a lot of it.
I have the two. Well, if you guys don't know me that well, I'm very big. My number one Marvel comic character is Man-Thing. So anytime Man-Thing pops up, I have to get my hands on that. And I believe he was in 2 episodes of Weapon H. Yeah. Because they like sent him out after him because they're like, well, we need something his size and his strength that could potentially take him down. And he was one of the few at the time that was known to take the Hulk down, because he who knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch. And Man-Thing is basically a swamp creature that you hit him and stuff, and he just gelatinously forms back. So,
for my Hulk, I'm gonna go with Jake something.
Okay, that's a good one.
All right, the next one's gonna create some interesting characters here, or choices. Iron Man.
The first one that comes to my mind is Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
I thought of him initially as well, but I also came up with Ricky Starks, because I feel he could play that cocky millionaire aspect really well.
Oh, MJF. If we're going that route, I'm going MJF. You want to talk about cocky? Mm-hmm. And now with him doing like the whole face deal, he's still MJF, but now he's a good guy. So he still has that attitude that's very, because already, Robert Downey Jr. was typecasted for that. Like he was basically built his entire life to play Iron Man for 10 movies. And so part of me is like, yeah, I think MJF would definitely pull off Iron Man if given the role.
Also, if I'm going with indies, I'm gonna have to go with Dan the Dad.
Oh my gosh, Dan the Dad is awesome. And then you got Man Scout too. So I think Man Scout, you know what? Man Scout would be a good, not even comic book, but if they were ever recast for MacGyver.
All right, next up. How about Spider-Man?
Oh man. Nick Wayne.
Matt Riddle.
I like Nick Wayne. He was not one of my original thoughts, but I like it now. My original thought was actually Darby Allin. It's just the way he moves and flies around.
So that's why I was going with Riddle, because Riddle's like, Jack Evans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Evans would probably be great too, as that, all the flying around in the air and everything like that.
Ooh, if we're doing that, also Jake Cartwheel.
Yes.
Okay. So we got 3 left. This one is our one and only villain for tonight. Thanos.
Brock Lesnar. In my head, I'm like, that's the only person big enough that I could see doing that.
If I think personality type, I got to go with Kurt Angle, because even though he was an ass, but he always thought he was doing the right thing in his own world. Yeah. If we're going on character-wise.
If he didn't have to get physical, because he'd probably break something, I would say Kevin Nash.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, Kevin Nash in films, in my head, I'm like, he normally just does like comedy and stuff. The only thing I think he was ever in where I saw him doing something serious was when he was Super Shredder.
Yes.
So I'm like, I would just see him trying to be Thanos, and he would just have to pull like 2 or 3 jokes out of nowhere where it's like tongue in cheek, like to get the kids to giggle. He'd probably throw a fart joke in there as Thanos, like he'd go to snap instead he'd toot himself. He'd be like, "Oh, whoops, wrong snap."
You think they're too sweet right after?
Yeah, that's how he. Yeah,
that's how he snaps.
Wolfpack snap.
All right. How about Thing?
Brian Cage.
Yeah, see, because if you think about it, any really big, the big meaty meat slapping meat type guys, those would be perfect for Thing. I was getting ready to say Cage too, so like him and Big E would be great for that. Ryback would be good for that. I mean, he's a
I
garbage
was
person.
also thinking
So.
Samoa Joe, because Thing can be kind of sarcastic.
Oh,
It's like Samoa Joe.
Yeah, which I still got to watch Twisted Metal. It's in my queue, and I still haven't watched it yet. And now they've also announced a season 2, so I'm excited about that.
All right, last one for the Marvel. Thor. I'm wondering if me and Seven are on the same wavelength here. I'm
drawing a blank. So
I'm thinking Hangman.
On the count of 3, say it at the same time.
I'm thinking Hangman Adam Page.
I'm gonna say this, and as soon as I do, you guys are going to be like, all right, Triple H.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he even carries the hammer, so hey.
Yeah.
He can pull off the facial hair just like Thor did. He's got the long hair still, and when he talks, especially when with his Paul Levesque, the way he talks that way, he's got a very like he's got that sophistication still. Even when he was in DX, trying to act like that, he's still how he held himself and talked had a very uppity, I'm better than thou type attitude. Just like Thor. Even when Thor is being humble, he's still coming across as if he's better than you.
So if we're casting Triple H as Thor, are we casting Shawn Michaels as Loki?
Well, yeah, we could.
Or his horse friend. I can't think of his name. That's who I picture Shawn more of.
I just like that, his horse friend. Yeah, but him and Shawn Michaels would probably be a great Loki. Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know anybody else that would be like. Unless it was X-Pac. X-Pac really liked to sport the green. So.
Yeah. All right. So before we cut it out here, 2 other last bits. Impact Wrestling had 2 major signings announced recently. Eddie Edwards has re-signed with Impact, and Kushida has signed with Impact.
Oh.
Do we see what will be TNA in 2024? Is their stock really going to rise in 2024?
I would think so. I mean, they have a really strong roster right now, and they are getting well noticed. Because they're still at that era, like when people say, well, if we're going to go with indies, because even AEW, there's still a handful of people that think that AEW is up there with WWE, and there's those people that still think, well, no, they're still just an indie fed. They just pull a lot of views, and I'm like, I would still like if it was me. And I would put them up there. I would put TNA up with AEW, up with WWE, and even ROH. So and Impact, and now soon maybe you even see OVW back up in the ranks as well. Mm-hmm. So I think they have a good run ahead of them in 2024.
I think if TNA could get a bigger network deal, like say even on the same level as AEW. I think that could beat AEW's ratings.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If not, I think they'd be running neck and neck with each other because they have idealistically almost like the same like talent wise. Like you can put a lot of their wrestlers up side by side, and they almost have the same traits with each other.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Impact is probably more competition. I mean, if we want to do the whole competition thing for AEW than WWE, but it'd be interesting to see Impact or TNA get another TV deal.
Last quick little bit here. This is more of a yes or no. This is the 1-year anniversary. Mandy Rose, or Mandy Sachs, was fired from WWE for her fan time page. She's really said she hasn't missed wrestling, but if the right call came in, she would come back. Do you think we ever see Mandy Rose in a wrestling ring again?
Well, I mean, money talks. I mean, look at it this way. Ric Flair had his final match, and now he popped up in All Elite. So, and he's like, man, I wish it could be. Now he's trying to up the whole him and Sting, because Sting's talking about retiring. How many times did Terry Funk retire and say that he never missed wrestling? And then he was, it's like the Kiss farewell tour, and they're like Kiss right now is in their 27th year of their farewell tour. So,
seeing that through their farewell tours.
Yeah, wrestlers are never really say it's over. Even when they say it's over, like, Triple H putting his boots out in the middle and stuff, it's like, I'm formally, like, no. Eventually something will happen, and they'll be like, we need to bring him back in. Al Snow said he was done. No, we need to bring him back in. Because they did that whole thing for that. And, it was the perfect storm. He was like, he didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to get back in the ring. But, this is Netflix. And because that Netflix series, look what's happened with OVW. They're starting on the rise again. So, and that was one of the big things, was getting Al Snow back in the ring. So yeah, Mandy will probably be back. You can't, it's hard. You get that itch. I went on a hiatus for almost 8 years, and Brandon Profit just was like, hey, I'm running this little show. I'd like you to show up and get on the microphone. And I was just on the microphone at the time. And I was just like, I got that itch, came back, and, now I've taken off.
It's always funny. It's always the smell of the ring for me that always gives me that itch.
It's that plywood. It's that steel. It's that cheap carpet padding. The fresh spray paint covering up the chipped pieces of the corner posts. The pleather or vinyl turnbuckle pads, because we can't afford actual canvas, because we bought the canvas and that was very expensive. The duct tape holding the pieces of ripped canvas together. The smell of the duct tape, colored duct tape covering the garden hose that also is covering the wire that are the belt or the ropes of the ring.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's
Mandy.
my poem for them.
Yeah. So Mandy Rose, I mean, honestly, if she's not missing it yet, then yeah, we'll probably see her when she misses it. But like he said, money talks.
That itch comes around, and a lot of times, money will scratch the itch that you didn't know was there. They're like with me, it's like it is. It's like, I've had my last match. Well, what about next Thursday, my last match? You just keep saying, okay, my last match will be, because then you'll have those people that want, oh man, I wish her last match was against so and so, or you'll even have a wrestler that will be like, I wanted to be that person's last match. So then she may get a phone call from one of her former friends that used to wrestle with her, going, man, I wish we got in the ring one more time. And they all convince them to do it for nostalgic reasons, out of friendship and family. There's so many different calculations that can take place to bring her back. So definitely not never say never. I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, who thought we would see Trish Stratus wrestling, 3 or 4 months this year?
Yeah, and she had a hell of a cage match, or Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a good chat.
Yeah, this was a good show. Me and Seven will be back next Thursday, same time. Vinny, we'll have you on again some point 2024.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it. Just remember, if anybody around the Central Indiana, watching this, if they're interested, December 30th, Edinburgh, Indiana, at the Sakura Event Center, P3W, Professional Thumb Wrestling. You're going to see action and comedy at its highest and lowest. And it's front row seats. We only have 10 front row seats and then 30 of general admission. Like I said, there's only 40 seats for this show. It's going to be a very small but fun show. We got 2 showings at 1 and 5 p.m. You can catch us on Eventbrite Or if you're around the area, Johnson County Axe Throwing. Check them out, buy some tickets, and throw some axes. It'll be awesome. Also, IWTV, type in ZPWN for any Zabadass Pro stuff. Science.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.